Welcome to another episode of the MakerDad Podcast. I'm your humble host, Josh, and tonight we're actually going to be talking about breaking into the quote unquote created by humans era of creativity. So, what I mean by that is we've seen the growing AI slop era that has been going on for the past years, couple years really, and it's just kind of making it seem like anything that we are seeing online or even getting into the real world with aspects of what you're buying or purchasing for your house, uh, your outside landscaping, or anything like that down the line is going to become more and more AI centered or created by AI. And the fact of the matter is that something that, let's say, this microphone that's in front of me, um, it will have like created by humans kind of distinction, where you'll take pride in saying, hey, this widget that I'm creating is created by a human, instead of all of the crap that you see on the stores is made by AI and no longer being touched or by human hands. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So that is the basis of what we've been seeing for uh, 5+ years now, since AI has really steamrolled into the scene. It's it is amazing. I don't get me wrong. The AI has a lot of potential as a tool, but you're not going to build a house with just one tool. It's just going to be a mismatch of like hammer, nails, saws, and staple guns and tape and all this sort of stuff that you need to create a house. And we've gotten to the point where we are creating 3D printed housing. And I can see that within another 5 more years that a 3D printed house would be designed, built, and I'm not going to say furnished, but more than likely would be all completely by AI. There will be no humans involved in creating this house. And I know some people be like, "Oh, that's great. It saves more time for humans to do other things." Well, that's not the case that we've seen, because we thought, oh, the internet or computers will make our lives a lot easier. You don't have to uh, be the doldrums of writing stuff down and let the computer do it. And we've pretty much just made ourselves not really obsolete, but we made more work for ourselves and ourselves be obsolete with layoffs because, oh, the computer can do your job now instead of you. Why are we hiring 4 humans to do it when we can have an AI do it for not even half the cost, of like no cost whatsoever? It's just the cost of energy. That's it. So the internet has brought a lot of things that are great, but it also has brought a lot of things that are not so great. So when you look at AI slop and the the process of looking at AI slop is starting to become more and more hard to tell that it's slop. There are some signs that you can see, but given the current pace of AI learning and large language models and all the billions of dollars being shoved into this initiative, really, it kind of takes out the human creativity of the whole thing of doing stuff, really. Why would I spend time making this bookshelf when I can have a robot and AI do it? There's no thought into doing stuff like that anymore. And I did write a post. It's like, why don't people make stuff anymore instead of just buying the cheap Walmart bookshelf and other stuff like that? It's getting to the point where, yeah, AI would start creeping into our real life more and more. And the proposition of creating a item or an object, the value of that, it just gets more and more diluted when you can have AI and robots just create thousands upon thousands of it. It's all going to look the same, and people would be able to purchase widget X for pennies on a dollar. But then when you look at something that a human has made, and of course the pricing of that is going to be much higher because there's time and effort put in, and love and blood, sweat, and tears put into it, that the cost of the value of it is going to be much higher. But the quality, and it's just the overall tactile feeling of it, is going to be much better. Because that could say that, oh, this was created by a human and not just a robot. So I think what I'm trying to come to the basis of this is that how can makers and creators look through and position themselves in the future, uh, in this new landscape? It's something that we'll have to think about and to learn from. And I'm not saying that all AI, we should not use AI. I know there's probably some of you that saying, Josh, why are you sticking up for AI? Because I can see it used as a tool in a responsible, smart way, and not just, have AI do everything for you. But it's something that we have to learn how to navigate and to work with and around in the coming years, because Pandora's box has been opened. There's no putting this genie back in a bottle. There's no way we'll be able to say AI. Now, I do have to preface it that at the time of this recording, probably sometime in the future, that the AI bubble has burst and will be a much better place going forward. But until that happens, or whatever future timeline and dimension that happens in, then we still have to figure out how to create objects or art and like books and, I don't know, tables or whatnot by human, and advertise it in a way to say, hey, do you want a quality product, not just some mass produced piece of garbage that is going to fall apart if you put your drink on it? It's going to be a hard path going forward, and to figure out how we as makers and creators are going to go through and figure out how to navigate this, really. And what's your personal commitment to it? Are you going to just say, I give up? There's no way I can compete against all this AI nonsense out there. And that's sadly, a lot of people are going to take that route, because they're going to view it as like, well, I can't dedicate too much time to my craft. And we've already seen a decline in people just learning about the crafts, metalworking, woodworking, pottery, and whatever else. There's a decline of where the younger generation is getting this information or this knowledge from the older generation, because to be brutally honest, they're dying out. When was the last time that you thought of that? Oh, or let me backtrack. When was the last time someone in your family has made it known that they want to become an apprentice electrician or a plumber or, carpenter? The trades are shrinking, but we still rely on plumbers. It's unfortunate that a lot of independent plumbing companies are being bought out by private equity, and same thing for electricians, and the vet industry is the same thing. It's something that we really have to look at and say, this is something that we need to protect. Human centric trades and crafts need to be protected, that if we don't do anything, it's going to die out. When are you going to be able to have younger generations look to or get information or learn about this stuff from older generation? Because by that time, it's going to be too late. We don't have the dedicated knowledge to pass along. There's already I forget the person's name, but they're creating the what was it, the last grill cleaner that you will really need, and they were coming up against people who were able to do machining to create the molds for the parts that they wanted to create or have built within the US. Now, that is also another problem for another topic for another episode, but the globalization of our industrial market has been uh, basically just like slashed and burned. There is really no way we can do all these like the small parts manufacturing that we used to do back in the day, back in like in the 30s and 40s. Now, of course, that was with World War II, but we've lost that capability of making stuff ourselves. We rely on the aspect of people in other countries, especially in like one or two countries, of creating the products or the parts that we need in order to build whatever we were wanting to be built here in the country. And I'm not going political, but it's just the basic fact that if something happens to a global trade country, or the trade lines get messed up, or war happens, and then we kind of screwed ourselves. We don't have the capability of doing all this stuff ourselves, or let alone have the knowledge anymore, because more people are was it more worried about getting like better paying jobs. I want to be a computer a programmer, or a network sysadmin. The blue collar, no, not white collar uh, type of jobs. Well, all that is getting taken out by AI as well. So there's less and less people are being hired for those particular jobs instead of blue collar, and the trades are being hit as well. So to make something with your own hands and to get that feeling of, hey, I made this. Yes, it took me hours to do, but it's something I made. And that's something that we have to get back into doing ourselves. And we might be put into a position where we'll be forced to do that, because trade embargoes and trade routes have been disrupted, and everything just becomes insanely expensive, and there's no way to get your widgets cheaper, so you're having to pay more, and then you have to figure out, oh, well, I can make it here, but it's going to cost triple what it would have been just last month. We've already seen a lot of that in different markets, but I want to talk about more of like the makerspace, which does affect everything else. But the makerspace, it's I don't know if you've seen this in your area, but when was the last time that you heard about a makerspace opening up? I'm talking about a shop that has aspects of woodworking, metalworking, and for people to go to a central location to work on projects that they're interested or wanting to build, that they don't have the equipment to do at their house, or have access to uh, cheaply, or quickly. How many times have you heard of a makerspace being opened? I've seen a lot of like reports, or reports of maker spaces closing down because it's too expensive, because insurance, that's a big thing. Insurance is way too expensive, because you have to insure, because most of the time someone will get hurt, It's just, human nature, and spinning blades of death, and humans really don't make good bedfellows. Something's going to happen. Excuse me. So there's really not any places that you can go to in like a big city that is cheap. I'm not really say cheap like a dollar or so, but relatively inexpensive, that you can go to and say, hey, I want to build. I'm wanting to build a bed, so I need to place to go and build my my parts. So the maker space is there. It's just not as big as what it could be. And one of the things I want to call to action on is that look at what is available in your area. Is there something that, a makerspace that is opened up or is open in your surrounding area, or your surrounding city or town or county or whatever? And if there is, check it out. There's probably, and if you, especially if you have the knowledge, they're probably looking for volunteers to help them out doing like a tutorial nights where, you can gather 5 to 15 people together to show them how to work a lathe or whatever. So it's something that we actually have to come together and put forth the effort in getting the knowledge back out there for the younger generation. And that's the sad reality of it, is that our ability to create things is being eroded and being eaten away by AI. And what we have to do is to make sure that this is not going to happen, that we have the capability of being the initiative to get stuff started up again, get people interested in creating items and just making stuff once again, and created by humans is what we really want to do. Now, is that by slapping a sticker on whatever that you make or whatever that you're trying to sell? Sure, it could be something like that. And I know there's been plenty of people out there. I've seen on Etsy that people selling little stickers that say "made by humans," and um, person I know, not well. Anyways, the artwork that he does, Corey Artists, he makes digital art, and he live streams the process of him creating the art. So it's just that process of making this stuff. And I know on Twitch, there are many, especially in the category makers and crafters, of people creating like the little bead art or leatherworking or whatever you think of, or sewing and stuff like that. So it's out there, but it's being overshadowed by AI. And that's the reason I wanted to get into this particular uh, uh, community, was to also document my journey as well of being an amateur woodworker and getting started, of creating projects and the business side, and the successes and failures, which I know there's going to be lots of failures on. It's just getting, and also teaching these different moments to my own daughter, where she'll be more comfortable and getting, you know, out there having more knowledge, instead of just, sitting behind a computer playing Overwatch or Roblox. So that's what I also want you to do as well. Is, I don't want to say it's like homework. It's more of to figure out if you have a skill or knowledge and you're interested in teaching other people. Reach out to different maker spaces, and if there's any in your area, um, make it something that you can do once a month, even if it means driving like 2 hours to a makerspace. The people that are interested in the makerspace community are interested in actually doing something. important for not just for themselves, but for the rest of us as well. So that's kind of my homework for you guys that are listening to this episode, and also um, join up on the MakerDad. I have started a community, forums and stuff like that. Just makerdad.net, or the link at themakerdad.com. I have it all set up and ready to go to explore this wonderful world of the makerspace. And with that, I want to say thank you for listening to this episode of the MakerDad, and be sure to leave a 5-star review if you're on Apple Music, or Apple Podcast, I should say. And with that, I want to say good night and later, taters.